All right, guys. So after learning about Vincent van Gogh and his Starry Night, we're going to make a Starry Night sky of our own, but with a Halloween twist. So our Starry Night is going to be over a pumpkin patch. So let's get started. To start out, you're going to get a purple piece of paper. And the first thing you're going to need to do is just really get that sky looking nice and night-like. So I would go ahead and take a blue, any version of blue is fine for now, and we're going to turn it on its side. Remember with pastels, if you need to, you can wipe it on the back of your paper or on a paper towel. If you just draw on the paper towel or back of your paper, it will clean the pastel off. Okay, so I'm going to take it on its side so it's nice and fat, and I'm just going to put out some big areas of color. Really kind of try to get some dark areas in that sky. So here we go. Now for the top, I'm going to choose a different blue, either darker or lighter, depending on what I started with. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just really trying to use the side of my pastel for now and just creating some color mixing on my page. You want to make sure you're going at least halfway down your page to create the sky. Now that we've got the background kind of started here, remember that Van Gogh does a lot of little brush strokes. He does different types of brush strokes with his art. So since it's a sky, I'm going to take some black and I'm just going to make some little lines, some short strokes, so to speak, on my paper to kind of create that brush stroke effect. Because remember, we're trying to make it look very Van Gogh-like. And his style is all about little brush strokes. Van Gogh is all about texture and using colors that blend and look good together. Now, the whole point of the Starry Night is that it has stars. So I want you to take either a yellow or white, or both. We're going to start by making just some dots. You can make some big and some small, but these are going to be our stars. And I like to take a white and kind of add a little white in there as well, just to brighten them up. And around those, I'm going to create some swirls by making some dashed lines that go around my stars. I'm doing this with white. Other colors you could use would be something that would give you that light effect, so maybe some orange or reds. I might add some oranges in there. Notice I'm trying to go in a circle pattern with my little brush strokes. Lastly, just as in the Starry Night, we're going to make some wind. Now, wind tends to be curvy lines, and those curvy lines also can sometimes have spirals. So I am going to make some lines that curve all through my sky so that it looks like wind blowing. All right, that's our sky. Nice job, guys. Okay, after we finish our sky, notice that we need to create the grass for our background. So let's get started. For the grass, I like to start with some different versions of green. Usually I start with a darker green. And once again, it's Van Gogh, so we are creating brush strokes. This time, since grass points up, I am going to make my grass using little lines. Notice short, choppy lines starting from the bottom, going up. And I'm going to do that all the way to the top where it meets the sky. And it's okay to go over the sky a little bit because the grass is in front of the sky. Okay, it is okay if some of your paper color does show through. Remember that Van Gogh loved color. He loved to have different types of color and to show texture in his work. So a little bit of paper color showing through is fine. The next thing I like to do is add some depth so that it looks like it goes back into space. And an easy way to do that is to go over the bottom part of my grass with some white so that it looks brighter. It looks like it's closer to us. Once again, I'm still making lines that go kind of up in that grassy feel as we go. Once I add the first layer of grass with white, I like to get a lighter green and just kind of create a middle ground for my grass. And middle ground, remember, is not the closest thing to you, but it's the part that is in between. There we go. Now we've got lots of different layers to our grass, and I might even just come in, really get that top part again. All right, now we've got a sky, we have some grass, and lots of Van Gogh texture. So the last thing we need to do to finish these pumpkin patches is to create some pumpkins. So for your pumpkins, you need to have at least 3. There's several different colors of pumpkin you can choose. Remember, pumpkins do not have to be solid orange. I also have some painted papers you can use, some lighter oranges, and then some yellows, because we do have pumpkins that can be yellowish in color. So to get started, I'm going to take at least 3 pumpkins. If you have time and would like to make a few more, you can. We're going to keep it pretty simple today, so I like to just cut the corners off first and kind of curve them with my scissors, lightly cutting and trimming so it gets that overall circle shape that I want. Okay, so this is going to be one pumpkin. And let's clear off my mess. For my second pumpkin, I may choose to make one that is a little bit skinnier. So in that case, I can come in and maybe cut a little bit taller, thinner pumpkin. Okay, and I think I'm going to stick with just a very fat, kind of wide pumpkin for my last one. Okay, once I get those pumpkins made, I am going to need a black pastel. Now I realize some of our blacks are kind of small, but we're going to start with a black. First thing I'm going to do is in the center, and I'm going to move this so I don't accidentally draw my background. Center of each one, I'm going to make a line that curves and makes basically an oval shape. So I'm going to get an oval in the center of the pumpkin. On the side, make a curved line on each side of it. And last, one curved line along the edge. So this is going to be pumpkin number 1. I'm going to do the same thing with each pumpkin. So an oval that stretches all the way from the top to the bottom. Then another curved line all the way touching from top to bottom. And these curves are making that curved pumpkin segments that we see. When you see a pumpkin, it's got that bumpy look to it. My last pumpkin, I'm going to do the same thing. Just making some curved lines so my pumpkin looks nice and pumpkin-y. All right, once I've got this drawn, I do need some glue. Now, you can overlap your pumpkins however you would like. So I think I'm going to put my smallest one in front and the other 2 behind, something like that. Remember that you do have to make sure they are at least touching the grass. Even if it's at the very top, they have to be touching the grass or you have floating pumpkins. So remember when we glue, it is dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to add a couple little dots there, but I'm not drawing big lines of glue. And I'm going to set that pumpkin right up towards the top of my grass. My yellow one is going to come next. Just a couple quick dots. And lastly, my painted pumpkin is going to sit right down in front. At this point, all you need to do is take that black and add some details. So I'm going to add some stems to my pumpkins, maybe some swirly vines, and whatever other decorations you guys think might make your pumpkin look more finished. There you go, guys. Van Gogh pumpkin patch.